Chapter 3 Two Thieves. In our village, popularly known as Buddhapara, there were two saints revered as thieves. Although they were not companions like Bashir's characters, Anavari Raman Nair and Ponkurishu, Golden Cross, Thomma, they were saints nonetheless. Perhaps throughout the history of Buddhapara, there were many thieves. Indeed, there were. Even now there are. But they are neither known nor wish to be known as thieves. Yes, they live as honorable men. However, Thani Chottil Hussain and Pandrakal Vasu were born thieves, lived as thieves, and will continue to live as thieves. For them, thievery was not just a profession, but a sacred service. While Hussain drank toddy, Vasu smoked cannabis. Hussain would steal money from people and homes, while Vasu would break open temple walls or steal crops like areca nuts, coconuts, and pepper from fields. Hussain had never broken into a temple's vault, nor had Vasu ever robbed a mosque's charity box. Being men of different religions, they respected the religious places and offerings of other faiths. Their thefts never stirred controversy. No one in the land ever viewed their acts as theft, yet they were known as thieves. People called Hussain Husseinka, elder brother, and Vasu Vasuvetta. No one called them by any other names. We all respected them. Anyone can earn the title of thief, but to live without disturbing anyone, to be known as a thief without earning anyone's hatred, that was something only they managed. These thieves were an essential part of the delicate ecosystem of our village. Vasu stole for cannabis and for festivals where he could enjoy playing cards, fairground, snacks, games, and movies. Mostly, he stole areca nuts. After the second show at the Narikunni Dinesh, after he'd grab a cup of black tea at Brothers Hotel and pick areca nuts from the well-grown fields, he only stole from the rich, those who owned large farms. Vasu justified his actions saying, if you take 2 or 3 areca nuts, some pepper or a banana bunch from someone with plenty, it won't hurt them. Even if it does, they won't make a fuss. There's an ethics to thievery. You can't learn it from blood sciences alone. You need to read the Communist Manifesto too. You must know Karl Marx and understand the multinational capitalism he once told. Vasu was a strong communist. However, he never led protests or carried flags, nor did the party include him. Having a thief involved in political events wasn't considered morally right. Still, candidates in the Panchayat elections would bribe him with money for cannabis and whisper sweet promises to earn his favor. After all, the value of a single vote is realized only in Panchayat elections. Local body election, Vasuvettan still claims that Gopalan won his ward seat by 1 vote thanks to his vote. Gopalan rewarded him with tea and 10 rupees for cannabis every time he saw him. And that accumulated to quite the hefty price for a single vote. Small profits, big returns. Thani Chottil Hussain had no interest in politics. He stole only during the day, never at night. He didn't want any goods, not even gold. If he saw gold lying around, he'd leave it. All he wanted was cash, enough to drink toddy for the day. If he got nothing, he'd borrow. If he borrowed, he'd pay it back. In a place like Buddhapara, where people dodge lenders, Hussain was a rare example of a man who repaid his debts. Hussain had once married. But not long after the wedding, the child next door lost her gold chain while playing. Hussain, while walking by, lifted the child, twirled her in the air, and placed her back down. That evening, when the child's family realized the chain was missing, They consulted a local diviner. He told them the chain was nearby and they should ask the child. The family asked the child, "Who took it?" The child said, "Hussein ka." That was enough. A police case followed. Hussein was taken into custody. The police believed he didn't steal it, but when he returned to the village, he was known as Thief Hussein. His job was lost, and soon so was his wife. All that remained was the label of thief. 2 weeks later, the child found the missing chain inside a toy box. Even though the chain was recovered, Hussein never got back his job or wife. The name, the thief Hussein, stuck, and from then on, he embraced a life of crime. He also started drinking more heavily, perhaps as a way to numb the pain of his lost love. To him, drinking became an expression of love for the wife who had abandoned him. Though Hussein and Vasuvetan were the official thieves of Bodhapara, there were others, the likes of Farid Mapla, who smuggled gold, Vijayan, who embezzled public funds, and engineer Appu, who made millions through bribery and corruption. These people lived respectably in society, but the villagers gave more respect to Vasuvetan and Hussein than they did to these so-called honorable men. One day, Vasuvetan found a gold ornament in the vault he had broken into. Like any thief, he should have felt joy upon finding gold, but he didn't. The ornament was a thali chain with a name engraved on it, Devu. That name, Devu, stirred a deep, tender memory in Vasuveta. It was his mother's name. The name brought back the warmth of his mother's breast milk, flowing through him like a river. For days, Vasuvetan couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, reliving his childhood memories. Eventually, a memory took root of being left at Kuttayasan Mapala's shop when he was 5 years old. The face of Kuttayasan Mapla came to his mind. The night before, his father had come home drunk, beaten his mother, and she had taken him to the shop for refuge. The next morning when he woke up, his mother was gone, leaving only darkness behind. He searched for her for some time. He heard that she had converted to Islam and married someone else in a faraway land. The news reached him like a faint, painful memory, but it never faded. Later, his father threw him out of the house, replacing his mother with a woman named Shanta. Then came the hunger. Unable to bear the hunger, he stole his first coconut from Velayudhan Ashri's farm. That was his first theft. Velayudhan's son saw him and called him a thief. But Velayudhan didn't say anything. He was just hungry, was all he said. Thus Vasu, the coconut thief, later became the areca nut thief, the banana thief, and finally, Thief Vasu. When Vasuveta opened the pendant on the thali chain, he found a picture inside. It was the face of a small child. He was sure it was his own face. Vasuvetan went to Hussein and showed him the pendant. Trusting the philosophical belief that one thief can trust another, Vasuvetan confided in him. He believed that the woman who owned the pendant was his mother and that he needed to find her. Vasu decided to share his thoughts with Hussein. He believed that the owner of this pendant, Devu, was his mother and he had to find her. A faint memory surfaced in his mind. His mother wearing a similar pendant, scolding him lovingly when he would tug at it while nursing. "Where did you find this?" Hussein asked, inspecting the ornament carefully, turning it over in his hands. "I found it when I broke into the temple vault," Vasuvetan replied. "Then just take the locket and return the ornament to the temple vault. The goddess will lead you to your mother," Hussein said, almost like a Sufi sage filled with wisdom. Despite being a thief, Hussein was truly noble. Following Hussein's advice that very morning, Vasuvatan set out for the temple at Koilothambalam. It was 5 miles from Bodhapara, and he walked all the way, meditating on the goddess in his heart. The moonlight smiled as it spread across the red sand path. At the temple, a new vault had been installed. Carved in golden letters in Malayalam, it read, "Donated by Chatunni for his mother." Though he was a thief, Vasuvatan had no malice in his heart. He deposited the ornament in the vault, just as Hussain had suggested, and descended the temple steps, walking away. Now that his task was complete, he began to feel both hungry and thirsty. However, he set aside his hunger and thirst, focusing on the desire to find his mother. As he walked a little further, his thirst intensified. He spotted a house lit up by the roadside and decided to enter. "Mother, could you give me some water?" he asked. From the kitchen, there was a slight rustling sound. An elderly woman, bent over, was sitting on the veranda with prayer beads in her hand. She asked in a familiar voice, "Is that you, Vasu?" Hearing his name spoken aloud, Vasuvatan was startled for a moment, but quickly regained his composure. "Do you know me?" he asked. The answer came not from the elderly woman, but from a young woman who approached with a glass of rice water. "That's how she is," the young woman said. "She asks every man she meets, 'Are you Vasu?' Mother used to say that before she converted to another religion. She had been married before. She had a son named Vasu, but he's dead now, or so my father used to say. Now she's waiting for him, hoping he'll return one day. She even placed the wedding pendant from that marriage in the temple vault, waiting for Vasu to come back and claim it. It's all a bit mad, isn't it? By the way, is your name Vasu?" At that moment, Vasuvatan felt as though someone had lifted him up to the heavens. His heart raced with emotion. He took the glass of salted rice water from the young woman, drank it in one gulp, and responded to her question. "No, my name is Krishna. Some people call me Krishna the thief," he said. With that, Vasuvatan turned around and walked away back to Bodhapara to find solace with Hussain, the saintly thief seeking refuge once more.